Let you go? He was long enough, wasn't you? Put the kettle on 10 minutes past, I did. Never... Let you?
Come along, man. There's nothing there, yeah?
A moment more, Mr. Marriott, sir, a moment more. Patience and perseverance, eh? These are the two ladies we must cultivate if we wish to be a success at photography.
A great deal depends on this.
I know.
If we could once demonstrate that our concealed camera gives a faithful picture.
The image is coming, sir.
Let me see.
Ah!
This is wonderful. We could conceal our camera anywhere, you know, in an old suitcase or anything. Simply cut a hole for the lens, train it on our man in broad. Inspector Bird will have
Now,
to accept
Mr. Marriott,
our
sir, let's have a look. Subject moved, sir.
Subject moved.
Incorrect exposure.
Incorrect exposure.
'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wave. All mimsy were the border groves, and the moonraths outgrave. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Oh, come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, Frabjus Calloo Calais, he chortled in his joy.
Subject moved, sir. Incorrect exposure, sir.
Oh, bad luck.
I suppose this means the end of the concealed camera, sir.
No, not necessarily, but you know Inspector Bird has a prejudice against expenditure without results.
I thought as much. A literary man, Sergeant Cork.
Ah, Bitterman, don't tell me you're a lover of the works of Professor Dodson.
Lewis Carroll, sir.
Exactly.
Expenditure without results. If you ask me, it's all a lot of nonsense.
So Jabberwocky doesn't appeal to you, eh?
Who said anything about Jabberwocky? But that's nonsense, too, if you come down to it. It's utterly meaningless.
Oh, no, Mr. Marriott, sir. You see, each word has a different meaning for every individual. For instance, take brillig. Now, to me, brillig is that moment in the developing tank, just before the image comes clear on a plate, all misty and wandering light and shadow.
And gyre and gimble in the wave. You're being very obtuse, you know. You must have gyred and gimbled before today.
Me? Listen, you're talking through your hat. Slithy toves. Now, what about that?
Yes, much more subtle concept.
Oh, indeed.
Slithy Tove is a slippery customer. It's only when you turn your back, show us behind you. Face him, and he's faceless. A Slithy Tove is...
Sergeant Cork,
No,
sir.
not me, Chalk. None of us here. We're all far too bulky.
I thought you was out for your supper, sir. Dear me, I wish I'd known. There's been murder done.
Has there indeed?
In the East End, sir, caused quite a stir. Inspector Bird has gone down himself to take charge.
Inspector Bird, out in a case?
Oh, it takes special constables to quell a riot, sir. The inspector was concerned.
Must be a very important gentleman to have departed this life. Details, please, Chalky, details.
Delamore Terrace, sir. Just off the East Indian Dock Road. Party by the name of Trumbull.
Yeah. What name do you say?
Trumbull. Otherwise known as Covey, sir. An old leg.
Alas, poor Trumbull. I knew him well. Shakespeare, lad, Shakespeare. Don't you take an interest in literature of any sort? All right, come along, Mary, come along. Get my hat, will you? Thank you.
Please, Miss Trumbull. It's a dreadful thing to have happened. Believe me, you have all our sympathy, but you must try and help us.
My father! He was my father!
Precisely. Now, you say you went out shopping. When you came back, you found him like this.
Why should anyone want to kill him?
How long were you away, Miss Trumbull? Miss Trumbull, I must insist. When did you leave? At what hour? Oh, for goodness sake, man, can nothing be done about that racket outside? It's insupportable, this kind of pouring. Well, your findings, Doctor?
You
You'll have my report just as soon as I can put pen to paper, Inspector Bird. Death from wounds to the head inflicted by a sharp, probably metallic instrument.
I'd almost reached that conclusion myself, Doctor.
Perhaps one of the firearms. Have you almost come to that conclusion?
I beg your pardon.
Well, they do seem to have been thrown about with some abandon. One or two of them stained with blood.
Everything's stained. How another human being can bear to live in a hovel like this? Dirt, disease, indignity. In the end, not even the decency to die cleanly. Well, what is a case like this to do with people like us? You hear that crowd outside, Doctor? It's against everything I stand for. Trumbull was a known criminal. For years now, we've been jailing and releasing him at almost regular intervals. The ironic thing is this. If and when we catch his murderer, that crowd outside will be on his side, too.
Now stop this noise, will you? Stop it! Stop it! Now you all know me. Sergeant Cork is the ID. So old Trumbull's been topped, has he? Well, that's a shame. He's so much a friend of mine as he was of yours. Now, we got on very well. We had a very pleasant association. Professional at times, I know, but nevertheless pleasant. Look, he once told me that for a policeman I was as much an honest man as he'd ever wished to meet. Now, look, I mean to find out what's happened at Rumble and who's responsible. I'll blame no one for that reason, and I'll spare no one for the sake of sentiment. So if anyone knows any more than they should, make a clean breast of it, or keep out of my way in the future. You understand each other? Has anyone got anything to say? All right, then, off you go to your home. Go on. Off you go. Leave the police stand. Go on, off you go. Off you go, leave the police. All this shouting's nonsense. Never got anyone a square meal yet. Off you go, off you go. Take him away. Look after him.
Excuse me, Sergeant.
Not now, Sonny. Perryman, Bob.
Sergeant Cork, it's about time.
I'm sorry, Inspector. Mr. Perryman, our photographic expert. I don't think you've met Inspector Bird, Mr. Perryman.
Yes,
usual pictures made as quick as you can.
Sergeant, what is the meaning of this?
The meaning, sir?
There's no justification for the expense of photographs in a case like this. It's a simple underworld killing. Yes. Trumbull was murdered by his former associates.
But photographs are becoming standard in investigation nowadays, as you recall in the Carlton slashing
Sergeant,
affair,
if you had the true interest of the department at heart, you'd be out now questioning every one of your wretched criminal acquaintances as to their whereabouts earlier this evening.
And that I intend to do, sir, as soon as I've finished here. Need any help, Perryman?
Now, see here. And who is this, pray?
That's a very good question. Who are you, boy? How'd you get in here?
Manners is the name, sir.
I'm afraid I'm none the wiser.
What do you want here, man? This is a police inquiry.
Yes, sir, I know, sir. I'm part of it. Look, Nora, don't cry. I'll look after you.
What is, a friend or relative?
Fiancé, sir.
I see you better look after this little girl. Is there anywhere else she can lie down?
Yes, sir. Through here.
Right, off you go, off you go, off. Nora. That's a queer thing. I'd almost forgotten old Trumbull had a daughter.
Yes, a young fellow like that, almost respectable. Her fiancé. See to everything here, please, Cork. I'll expect to hear from you later.
I think so.
For once, I'm afraid our revered inspector is right. No mystery here, Cork. Trumbull was struck down by someone with a grudge against him.
Struck down? Mm-hmm. Then why does he lie like that with his head in the fireplace? That means he's been hit from right over there.
So?
Not much room, is there? I don't like the way he's lying at all.
That won't convince Inspector Bird.
It'll convince me, though. I think we have got a bit of a mystery here, Doctor. See, I knew Trumbull well. I knew he hadn't got an enemy in the world. He'd given up his antisocial ways a year ago. And who would bear a grudge against an honest man?
No, Mr. Manners. How's the young lady now?
She's much better now, sir. She's asleep.
I suppose I should ask her some questions. I dare say it can wait.
Sergeant Cork, is it true that... Well, what I'm trying to say is...
Laddie, what are you trying to say?
Was Nora's father a criminal, sir?
Didn't you know? Does it make any difference?
Well, I can't understand why she never told me. Tonight was just like any other night. Nora and me were going out. I arrive at the home and then this.
What is your line of business, Laddie?
I'm a grocer's assistant, sir.
Well, that's respectable enough anyway, isn't it?
Sir?
Look, lad, lots of us in this world make mistakes. Some people make them secretly, without drawing attention to themselves, and these people we call honest men. Other people, like old Trumbull, can't seem to keep out of the limelight. For those, we have another word, bad hat, wrong 'un. But old Trumbull hadn't done a job for a year. That's pretty good, considering. It's the effort that counts. We can't all succeed, but a man's a true man who tries.
I'd have to think about that, sir.
I'm sure you will. Look, don't worry about Nora tonight. We'll leave a constable looking after her, but you best have your thinking done by tomorrow. We can't look after her forever, you know. Off you go, lad.
Good night, sir.
Good night, dear. Now, boy, who are you? Bit late for you to be roaming the streets, isn't it? Where do you live? What's the trouble, boy? Have you got something to say to me? Here. Have some stick jaw. Hey, look, I'm not going to hurt you. Here.
You from midnight to 2, and we'll get back to the station now and come and relieve you about 2 o'clock. Bye.
Fingerprints clearly show that no one except Nora and old Trumbull could have touched those firearms.
Fingerprints aren't evidence.
I know, it's remarkable, isn't it, though? No sign of the murder weapon, no sign of the murderer. Look, take a look at that file. One we've compiled about Trumbull's criminal history. Trumbull, he's one of the boys. No one hated him enough to kill him.
That's true.
I know these lads. Inspector Bird doesn't. What's the sense of me going out and putting the screw on each and every one of them? No secrets, no subtlety, not east of Mary LeBeau. This case had a trademark. I could recognize as surely as a diamond tiara in a stately home. It hasn't, and that's that.
Here's an odd thing. You know that Trumbull once turned Queen's evidence against a friend?
Really?
Yes, an old newspaper report. Yesterday at Newgate, Arthur William Trumbull was granted discharge upon remission of sentence for having supplied Queen's evidence against one James Lake, whom he confessed to be prime mover in the recent smash and grab raid upon Mr. Pennycook's silver store in Oxford Street. Goes on. Lake, on being apprehended at his lodgings in possession of silver plate, was brought to justice and sentenced to transportation to the Australian colonies. Transportation?
What date was that?
1865, good Lord.
Transportation. Good heavens, poor devil. You ever hear anything about these filthy Australian convict colonies?
No, not much.
I can dimly remember the talk. They were smearing this country's name, but thank God they're ending forever now. The poor unfortunate were sent there were condemned to a slow death. Hard labor and hunger till they dropped in their tracks.
Was there no chance of reprieve?
Not much, no. Some of them were given a ticket of leave, but the others simply rotted. Well, God rest James Lake, whoever he was. At least he hasn't been able to help us very much.
Unlike Trumbull, though. Having to turn Queen's evidence. Not one of the lads, after all.
Oh, still, it was a long time ago, wasn't it?
Look at that, Sergeant. Look at that.
Ah, nice clear picture.
No, sir. Bottom right-hand corner.
What?
Dazzle.
Ah, too bad. I can see you're a perfectionist. Still, it's for practical purposes.
Dear Sergeant Cork, you don't follow me at all. That dazzle shouldn't be there, sir. You see, the light was very bad. It means there must have been something particularly bright in that corner of the room, winking back at the camera and reflecting on the plate.
Something particularly bright in Trumbull's dingy little hovel.
Ah, here! There, Sergeant, I knew I was right. Silver, I should imagine.
Yeah, that's worth more than a shilling or two, that is.
What is it?
You see one of those before? It's the cap they gum onto the top of a gentleman's cane in order to complete the head.
Cap of a gentleman's cane in Trumbull's kitchen. How did he get it?
Yeah. What I think we have in this case, Bob, a half-formed, faceless, but honest-to-goodness Slithy Tove. Morning, Choggy. Lovely spring day.
Sergeant Cork, it ain't often as I objects to anything you does.
Truly feudal.
But there are limits. Now, who can answer for it when the petty cash goes missing? Now, I think before you say now, sir. Who's to tell Inspector Bird when there ain't no tea service no more, and all the apostle spoons is flown?
Joe, what are you talking about?
I've sat up all night lest that young limb should revert to his wicked ways, sir. Natural-born thief if ever I saw one. Whatever came over you...
He wants to talk to me, at least I think he does. He followed me home last night of his own accord. Did he take the soup I told to give him?
No more nor a mouthful?
Ah, no. Their stomachs swell, you know, they're not used to eating. Food in small doses, that's the answer. What do you think, Choggy? Orphan or mudlark?
Natural-born thief, sir. Even smells it.
Ah, the smell of poverty. We could forgive the poor everything if they didn't stink of what we'd done to them. Why, lad? Friends, you and me, now, aren't we? Something you want to tell me? Something you want to say? Look, here, lad. Have some stickjaw, eh? Come on. Never met the boy yet who didn't like stickjaw. Come on, lad, it's honest to goodness, I promise you. Oh, well, never mind. See, he gets a good breakfast, will you, Choggy?
He's to stay, then?
Long as he likes. I can be patient.
Morning, son. Morning, Jockey.
Bright and early, eh? What's the matter with you, insomnia?
Oh, I've been round the newspaper offices, actually. Seeing what more I can find out about this fellow Lake.
Lake?
The chap Trumbull indicted over the Pennycook silver store robbery. Evidence is scant, but it appears at the trial. Judgment on Lake was summary in the extreme. Trumbull's word was accepted without hesitation.
I seem to remember he was found in possession of some silver plate or something.
But he kept on protesting his innocence over and over again. Declared it was a frightening injustice, and if he was transported, there'd be no one left to look after the child.
Child?
Yes, he was a widow. There was a baby somewhere or other. Then he went to the Home Office. They have convict records, you know, returned from Australia as a matter of course.
Yeah?
Lake's dead.
Lake's dead. Well, I'm sorry about that.
Tasmania, 1878.
You weren't going to suggest he was a candidate for the Trumbull murder, were you?
Well, you yourself suggested that there seemed to be no one with a motive. I mean, if a man like Lake had survived...
Look, I'm sorry you waste your energy. Something far more important to do. Take this, go round all the silversmiths in London and find out who could have made that.
Oh, no.
Look, there's our candidate, boy. Whoever dropped that in Trumbull's kitchen is the man we want to find. Now, get on with it, quickly. Come on.
Right, Mr. Cork, my report on the Trumbull case.
Ah, yes, Doctor, something I wanted to ask you. The blow that killed Trumbull, could that have been made with something lighter than a fire iron, say, a gentleman's cane?
Always possible, I suppose. It would depend on the force with which the blow was struck. But a gentleman's cane in Trumble's house. Now, what's all this? Didn't know you've been reduced to taking in boarders, Cork.
The boy has something to say to me, but appears he's lost his tongue. What would you, as a medical man, prescribe?
For secrecy and silence. Oh, the medicine's very expensive. But, for a first move... Yes, confound it, and I'll suit the action to the words. All-round health by virtue of carbonic persuasion. A good bath.
A capital suggestion.
Come on, Chalky.
Me?
Lend me a hand. Yes.
Oh, no.
Jump to it, man. Jump to it with him.
Oh, my stars, oh, no.
No,
Bob,
there.
Sergeant, no, it ain't natural, sir.
Extraordinary thing.
What is?
The boy, even when you manhandle him, he doesn't make a sound.
Marriott. Silversmiths.
Oh.
It's all right, Constable. Sergeant Cork said I might call. I'm Miss Trumbull's... That is, my name's Manners.
Oh, Mr. Manners. Very good, sir. You can go in.
Thank you, Constable. Hello, Nora.
Sam. What's the matter, Sam?
Oh, nothing. Just came in to see how you were today. It's the time I get off from the shop, you know, my half hour. Mr. Barnaby's very generous. It's all very sad, this, about your father, I mean. Look, Nora, you've got to make up your mind about the future. And I reckon that, I ought to ask you what you mean to do.
Do?
Oh, well, you can't stay here, can you? Not alone, that wouldn't be proper. And then there's the problem of money. Well, no one's got much of that. But, well, I've tried to be careful, and I would like you to know that if there's any way I can help you, I'd be only too happy. And I really mean that, Nora.
What are you trying to say to me, Sam? Best say it out and have done.
You didn't tell me your father was a criminal. Now, why didn't you tell me? Didn't you think I had a right to know? Your fiancé?
He changed, Sam. Long before I met you.
A thief, folks say, in and out of jail like a fox in a fowl yard. Now, believe me, it was never the poverty that worried me, because I'm poor myself. Though I never came to this. And I know that people go through hard times, and I kept thinking it wouldn't be Christian to raise barriers against them, just because they're like... Oh, look, Nora, I've got to be practical. I'm in a good position now. Mr. Barnaby's promised me 15 shillings a week. Now, that means that he trusts me and he has confidence in me.
Sam, are you trying to say you don't want to marry me anymore? There's no sense speaking about the bush. That is it, isn't it? That's what you've come to say.
Nora, you could only put yourself in my position.
My father died in this room last night, Sam. Oh, he'd done his share of bad things, there's no denying it. But he changed, whether you get to believe it or not. Even if he hadn't, I'd still be sorry to see him go. He was my father, Sam. I loved him.
That's natural, Nora. And believe me, I do understand.
Do you? Do you honestly mean to stand there and tell me we're talking the same language? What is love, Sam? What's it like to love someone truly, for themselves, in spite of anything they might be?
You can't persuade me there isn't a single silversmith in the whole of London who can't say where that was made.
Well, there wasn't. They insist it wasn't made in England. There's no hallmark, you see. One little man in Cheapside suggested it might be Italian.
Italian?
Yes, from Venice or some such place. You see the design, all that ornate scrollwork. It's not popular in England.
No, we're a subdued race. So our Slithy Tove is not just a man of means, but a traveller as well.
Curiouser and curiouser.
By all it vanished down the rabbit hole.
Lewis Carroll.
You're learning, Marriott, you're learning.
Morning, Sergeant Cork.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
What? I'm sorry. Are we intruding?
Not at all, sir. Mr. Manners was just leaving.
But Nora, we haven't decided on
Better
it.
get back to the shop, Sam. It wouldn't do to be late.
Nora, can I come and talk to you tomorrow? Fine day, Sergeant Cork.
Yes, still the heat might be for rain. I notice a certain insecurity in the elements. It's much better this way. I told him last I'd have some thinking to do. I'm sorry.
What did you want to see me about, sir?
Just a few questions. I should have asked you last night, but I spared you. But I'd like the answers now.
If it'll help, sir.
I'd just like to know what company your father kept. Who were his friends, who liked him and who disliked him.
Everybody liked my father, sir.
Well, somebody didn't. Nora, were there any unlikely acquaintances? Anyone who took you by surprise? Should we say any gentlemen?
Gentlemen, sir?
Anyone who seemed a little out of place in these surroundings? Anyone who came to see your father late at night, on business, carrying a cane? Of which this is the top.
I think you must be mistaken, sir. Gentleman calling on my father. A gentleman spit on him and send him for trial before he'd sit down to business with him. My father knew no gentleman.
And this cap?
I've never seen it before.
And that is the truth?
Yes, sir.
Right, all right, that's all I want to ask for the time being. Come on, Merritt. Better get along.
Might I ask a question of Miss Trumbleton?
You?
It's a very simple one. Tell me, miss, did your father ever mention a man called Lake?
Lake? What do you know about him, sir?
Then he did mention such a man.
Mostly when he was...
Well?
In liquor, sir. He drank more than was good for him sometimes, said my father. It was then he used to talk about this man, Lake. Jim Lake, he'd say. The only man I ever did dirt to, Nora. But it can never touch you, girl. I've paid that debt. Paid.
Nothing more?
Elliot, what's going on in that brain box of yours?
Well, it's just occurred to me, Sergeant, that our Tove might be slithier than we previously imagined. Or, to put it another way, our snark may well turn out to be a boojum. You know, you really mustn't worry too much about my education, Sergeant.
Sergeant Cork not back.
No, sir.
Pity. He might have enjoyed this new aspect of his protege. Cleanliness next to Gotham, to say that. Splendid fit, that suit, Chalky. You did well.
Come out of the lost property, Doctor. You know, stuff what folks hands in.
And, what now? How about some fruit? How about a nice piece of pie? What do you say to that, eh? Some fruit?
And all this time, not a murmur out of him, not even when we watched him. Can't say as I understand a nipper like that, Doctor.
Oh, I do. At least I think I do. There are doctors in Europe these days saying that the misfortunes of life can often produce quite startling and unpredictable effects in the human mind.
Mine, sir?
Altering the pattern of everyday behavior so that people are no longer responsible for everything they do.
Do you mean... Here, that nipper ain't mad, is he?
Ah, it's the wrong word. He's had to make certain decisions, that's all. Since society has cast him out, he in return will have no easy converse with society. Silence is his revenge. He could talk if he wanted to. He has the power. But he never will. Not until this same element in the mind that tied his tongue decides to loosen it again.
Well, I never. Is that the gospel truth then, Doctor?
The problem is, he's anxious to communicate something. He didn't follow Cork here just to be out of the night. So how will he do it? And in return for what? Oh, yes, Chalky, he wants something. That's the law of the streets, isn't it? A favor for a crust of bread, information for gin. But we've already tempted the lad with most of the normal rewards, so what's he after? What does he want from us before he can reveal himself?
No, it's impossible. Look, Lake's dead. You've established that fact.
Well, the record says he's dead, but that could be a mistake. He might actually have survived, returned to England.
I know, pausing at Venice on the way to buy himself a gentleman's silver-top cane.
Look, the fact is, of all the people Trumbull knew, only Lake had reason to kill him. A first-class.
I know, but it's against human nature. Suppose this fellow is still alive. Must be an extraordinary gentleman to carry a grudge for 25 years. People have turned Queen's evidence before in the dock, you know.
But if the evidence were false?
What?
Look, Trumbull had a conscience about Lake all his life. At the trial, Lake kept saying he was innocent. Now, let's just suppose for a moment that Lake wasn't telling the tale. Trumbull selected a crony at random to save his own neck. Now, wouldn't that explain things better? Trumbull's state of mind, the sort of grudge that could last for 25 years? Well, do you agree or don't you? I'm just throwing ideas around.
What a... No, Chalky, must you continue your passion for moving furniture this time of the day? Look, that stuff can go back to lost property any time.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sergeant. I had to get it all out to search for the suit for the lad here. Now it's all got to go back. Untidy otherwise.
That is not the proper feudal spirit. Look, Doctor, why don't you go home? People in your profession are allowed to sleep from time to time.
I've made that boy there my patient. Besides, it isn't everyone who can observe at first hand the shrewd, clear-sighted, and altogether convincing deliberations of the CID.
And I think you and I better have something to eat. I never could think on an empty stomach.
All this is possible about Lake, you know. It's far-fetched, perhaps, but in other ways it's jolly persuasive.
Everything is possible. There's something in the way Trumbull lay dead that night I can't get out of my mind. It was not as though he'd been struck down. It was as though he'd succumbed. And it... Oh, sure.
Oh, before you
All right,
start...
shift, my brother. Shift with care. Shift in the presence of the passenger. Mr. Merritt and I are going out to eat.
Yeah, that's more like it, ain't it?
Oh, hat, Merritt.
Heavy, this junk.
Yes, I know.
Here, by thunder, you and vomit, clear!
What is it?
Thing I've been waiting for. He wants something from us, and I think perhaps he's found it. There you are, you see. That picture could be his mother, for all he knows. All he wanted from us was to remind him of the last time he was happy.
I hope you will appreciate from what I've been saying, Sergeant, that something has got to be done.
Yes, of course. A midnight raid on Pennycook's silver store.
I brought the report to you personally. It is to impress upon you the fact that these miscreants must be apprehended immediately. It is for people like these that a permanent and efficient police force was created.
And not for people like Trumbull.
Precisely.
We are making some progress, Inspector. It appears the night he died.
Sergeant, is there any sense in my trying to speak to you?
Sir?
Will you expunge Trumbull from your mind, concentrate your attentions on Mr. Pennycook? Trumbull was murdered by associates seeking revenge. Sooner or later they will reveal themselves, then we shall be able to close the case without expense.
Look, with due respect, sir, it is not quite as simple as that.
If last evening at Pennycook's... Morning, Inspector.
Morning, Mr. Marriott. It's good to see there is at least one person in this office who has the true interests of the department at heart.
Well, it's happened before, sir. That's the interesting thing. It's either the most enormous coincidence or Pennycook's is virtually under fire from a certain smash-and-grab merchant.
Pennycook's raided before, I don't recall. When, pray?
25 years ago, sir. 1865.
Mr. Marriott, if that is an attempt at a pleasantry, I account it in very poor taste.
What did I say to
I shall expect to hear from you later. Good morning, gentlemen.
What did I say to upset
I
you,
just
sir?
don't understand this. Look, I know what you're going to say, but if Lake is alive and it was him, why?
But even the goods taken are exactly the same. 3 pieces of silver plate, no more, no less.
So he goes to great pains to return to England secretly. He murders Trumbull by stealth and then draws attention to himself by committing the same offence he was sent to Australia for 25 years ago. No, it won't do. Trumbull was the last person to suggest he was murdered by Lake.
What do you mean by that?
Remember what Trumbull said to Nora? Jim Lake, the only man I ever did dirt to, but they can never touch you. I've paid that debt, girl. Paid it. Come in.
Well, he's eaten a good breakfast this morning. I think he's almost ready to keep his part of the bargain.
What's this, Doctor?
The lad.
Go on.
Hiya.
Say, that suit looks a bit worse for wear.
Well, he's not used to looking after clothes.
And, what happens now, Doctor?
That's up to him. He's got what he wanted, and he'll communicate in his own good time.
But not in words.
No, not in words.
Well, my lady, there's something you want to pass on to me? Now, we're friends, you and me, aren't we?
He wants you to go with him.
And I should?
It would be advisable. He has no other way of talking to you.
Doctor, I was thinking about afterwards.
Yes, bring him back, Cork. I've been in touch with the matron of a home for destitute children. She hasn't much room, but she'll find a corner for him somewhere.
Good. Don't leave the office, Mayor. I may wish to communicate with you post-haste.
Oh.
On, good boy. I'm behind you. Go on.
If you would sign here, ma'am. So gracious. Thank your grace. Now my clerk will show you to your suite. Wait. My deepest apologies, Mr. Morton. The Grand Duchess, you know, in London for the season. We're deeply honoured that she should elect to stay with us. Now, as to your own problems, Mr. Morton, I feel sure we can make all arrangements. 7 gentlemen, you say?
At least that number, sir. The food must be first-rate, and I shall require a private room.
Oh, of course. There is a question of catering, if you could give me some
The best,
idea.
if you please. I'll settle the bill now or later, just as you prefer.
Yes, sir. I had no intention, I should... Yes, as for yourself, Mr. Morton, you're enjoying your stay in England, I trust?
I'm here on business, sir.
Yes. It's wonderful to think that people from the far-flung colonies are at last returning to the mother country to take their place as men of affairs. Our great Queen has inspired us all, Mr. Morton. The hand of England reaching out over distant seas...
My colony, as you have to call it, sir, was forged in misery and contempt. The English overlord was a brutal jailer. But you or any man here know what it is like to work in the hot sun and burning lime.
Oh, yes, sir, I should certainly hope I...
Torment cleanses, pain purifies. That was believed, sir, preached from every pulpit until a few years ago. I've known the graves of men who died to give substance to the lie. Good men, every one of them. Good subjects of the Queen.
All right, lad, all right. Look, you led me a goose chase all day. We've tramped halfway across London. Now, let's get to understand each other, shall we? Now, you know what I'm looking for, don't you? A man. A man who was in Trumbull's house the night he was murdered. Now, you saw him, didn't you? Let's have less of this exercise. Look, I want to find him. You there? Look, I know you've no reason to like the police, but if you're playing games with me, Well, you wait there. You just stay there.
Oh, good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Oh, are you the manager here?
I am, sir.
My name is Cork, Sergeant Cork of the CID.
Police?
Oh, no,
Good
it's
gracious.
no trouble. I just like to have a word with a person who may be a guest in your establishment.
Yes, sir.
You will think I'm mad, I know, but by all accounts, he's a dead man, whom these unlikely surroundings have resurrected. Have you the register?
Oh, yes, sir. This way, please. What do you think you're doing? Be off with you.
Wait a minute. Don't let that boy go. Don't let that boy go. Wait a minute. Stop that boy. You fool. What do you want to let him go for? Which way to go? Look, can we catch him?
Oh, when it's a boy like that, they're always hanging about, hoping to pick up a few pence. One has to be firm with them, sir.
No, the streets protect their own, and the streets won't give him back quickly either. He didn't ask much of this world, did he? Even part of that we had to take from him.
Oh, I mean my remarks to be practical, gentlemen. I, on my property in Australia, I could raise twice the head of cattle, and so could the other farmers. Now, it's not for me to tell you what's in the best interest of the English public, but it is certainly a fact that more Australian beef will mean cheaper meat in England, and that in turn would mean a more prosperous nation.
Yet your point is, Mr. Morton, that there aren't enough refrigerated ships.
Yeah, we need twice the fleet, Sir William, and if there's a single reason why I've gathered you gentlemen together tonight, it's to persuade you of that fact. Well, I see that it's almost time that we went into dinner. But before we do, speaking both for myself and my fellow cattlemen,
I'm sorry to intrude, sir. Mr. Morton?
That is my name, yes.
My name is Sergeant Cork of the CID. I'd appreciate a word with you, sir.
Well, yes, of course, Sergeant, but just for the moment
I understand you are in possession of an Italian silver-headed cane. By some quirk of chance, we seem to have found part of the top. I'd just like your assurance it does belong to you.
Gentlemen, would you care to proceed to the banqueting room? The sergeant has obviously gone to a lot of trouble to return me this, and I really think I should thank him.
I'm sure that our host will look after your guests very satisfactorily.
Oh, of course, at once. Gentlemen, if you'll kindly follow me.
Very much.
There you go.
Sergeant Cork, you said. The CID?
Yes, a new branch of the service recently formed. Our business is detection. You've caused me a great deal of trouble, Mr. Morton. It isn't every day I'm forced to tramp halfway across London in search of someone I have every reason to believe is 6 foot under. You are Lake, aren't you? James Lake, the convict, buried in Tasmania in 1878. I suppose I should congratulate you on the change in your circumstances.
My name is Morton, sir. Arthur Morton.
We found this in Trumbull's kitchen. Poor old Trumbull. He was good enough underneath. I was sorry to see him go, but I can quite understand why you hated him.
Now, look here, Sergeant.
Yes,
I don't know what you're damn...
Mr. Lake.
All right. There's a snatch at it, the finger from the tin ribs. So I'll admit it wasn't me who died in Tasmania, some other poor devil. They took so little heed of us, they hardly knew one from the other. It wasn't difficult to have it given out that it was Lake who dropped dead of the work and the hunger.
And then?
Well, I hid for a day and a night. And then finally I got away from those damned lime pits. I became Arthur Morton, the hard-working, honest immigrant, building his fortune with the... the blessing of those same demons who persecuted Lake. It's a queer thing, Sergeant. They're not much different, are they? The ones who are blessed and the ones who are cursed, they both sweat under the same sun. The one thrives for his work and the other crumbles to dry bones in a dusty grave.
I'm not here to discuss the state of the world with you, Mr. Morton. I'm here to warn you. A very serious charge can be laid against you.
So you reckon that I killed Kobe Trumbull?
Did you?
You don't expect me to answer that question.
Would save a lot of time and trouble.
Oh, you're a cool one, even for a peeler.
I give every man the right to speak his piece. I'm not a judge. Truth is the game I play. Consequences are best left to those who can bear the responsibility.
I'd heard there was a new kind of jackabout in London these days. But I'm a convict, Sergeant. I did a guy. Yeah, you'll have me bullied now before I can say Queen's Bench. No, I knew I was a goner the minute I saw Kobe Trumbull stretched out in his own blood. But I've had my tithe of that all the same.
Your tithe?
Yes, it was in the newspapers. The truth for a change, 25 years too late. Some silver plate was removed last night from Mr. Pennycook's store in Oxford Street. The price of a bargain the world made with me once. I thought I should have my exchange before I was finally topped.
So when Trumbull turned Queen's evidence against you, it wasn't strictly the truth?
No, sir. I stand free of the Pennycook job, whatever else I may have done. Well, there you are, Sergeant. I've given it all to you on a platter, ready to be carved. I was Trumbull's mortal enemy. I slaved in Australia until I saved the means to return and to settle the score. I went to his house 2 nights ago, and I beat his head in for a dirty barker.
Well, why don't you tell me what really happened?
Because my word isn't worth a brass farthing. And even if you believe me, the rest of the world wouldn't. Convicts are liars. It's in the blood.
And tell me, like, did Trumbull think you were still alive?
How should I know?
But he may have done.
Oh, it's possible.
Something in the way Trumbull laid. He was an old man. He wasn't used to shocks. Fire irons, he may have fallen back, stumbled on them. You know, there's a noose waiting at the end of this if you don't get the facts. What's the matter with you, boy? Haven't you taken enough in one lifetime?
Now, you can say what you reckon, Sergeant. Let's hear the voice of the new kind of Jack.
No, I don't think Trumbull was murdered. I've seen men dead from violence before. Their bodies are angry. He was resigned. I don't think you murdered him either. He would have prevented you, even if you had in your heart. See, Trumbull was under the impression he'd paid his debt to you.
Trumbull was... You mean Trumbull said that...
What did he say? I don't know, you tell me. I'm just a poor peeler, groping my way through the dark of two men's lives. Let's have it out and be done.
Ah, Mr. Morton, your guests are all seated, sir. Will you be wanting to join them now, sir?
No. Tell them to go home.
I beg your pardon.
Now give them their victuals and tell them to come back tomorrow. I'm not their slave anymore.
But I...
No, by thunder. I'm my own man. Come what may.
These colonials, you know, they're very independent. Some wine, I think, some of your best sherry would be quite satisfactory.
Oh, yes, certainly.
I had a message from Sergeant Cork. I came as quickly as I could.
Of course, you must be Mr. Marriott, sir, but the young lady?
I was instructed to bring her with me. Where's the sergeant, please?
Oh, in the lounge with Mr. Morton, sir.
Thank you. Come on, miss.
Well, yes, but...
I never really hated him, Sergeant. Well, perhaps at first, but that soon passed. Life in Tasmania taught me it was the whole world I wanted revenge on. Not any one man. I've had it in a roundabout way. I'm a rich man now. Mr. Pennycook will have his plate back. I shall send it to him. The crime was my due. I didn't want the profit. The only thing I ever came back to England for was for what I'd lost. Most of all for my child, who was a tiny baby when Trumbull did for him. Trumbull did for me, my daughter Nora. I thought Trumbull might be able to tell me of her. But Trumbull didn't see it that way. I came up out of the night like a ghost. He tried to run away, slipped. I put out my cane to stop him. Too late. Yet he paid his debt. Oh, he paid it well. I know who she must be now. The young woman I saw through the window. I went back to the house, Sergeant. Took the opportunity when things were quieter. And when I stole up to the window,
Tell me, for goodness sake, that's Lake, isn't it? Norris's daughter. And he didn't kill Trumbull.
No.
That's a bit awkward, isn't it? What are we going to tell Inspector Bird?
Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Good night, Jim.
Well, son? I said it was Lake.
What?
I told you it was Lake.
Yes. Yes, I know.